Hi, from my actual dream, the coast of Italy. I feel so incredibly privileged and grateful to be here right now, and that's what I want to come talk about. It has been a new thing for me to be able to say, "Oh, I'm so privileged." And here's the thing: I've always been privileged. I don't get discriminated for the color of my skin, and I've always been safe, and I've always been loved, and I've always been cared for. And yes, I grew up poor, and yes, I grew up with one parent that was actually available, but I was loved. I was fed. Like, we were taken care of by other people. But this, by very definition, is like a blessed privilege experience. Like, I think travel is something that I wish that I could figure out a way to give to everyone, because it's life changing, it's healing, it returns pieces of me to myself that I didn't even know were missing. It exposes me to this sensuous way of living that my senses didn't even know existed. It awakens me, it heals me. It is one of the biggest blessings that has ever been given to my life. Most of my travel has been by gift. This trip to Italy is actually the first one that I'm paying for by myself. I've worked really hard this year, saved a lot of money, and yes, I have been also having to work on maintaining. I'm going to be able to continue to make money. It's going to be okay that I'm spending all this money. But I want to talk about this place of feeling privileged and feeling the blessings and the luxuries of life and actually allowing myself to feel it. I remember the first comment that I got after Erica and I bought our house, of somebody being like, "Oh gosh, must be nice. Wish I got to land on my feet after my husband died. Way to rub it into us." And I felt the worst pain for that person. What people may not understand, especially because I chose to have the job as being a therapist, so it makes my job hard on my body, is that I feel other people's feelings. Sometimes it's hard for me to express how delighted I am by the world, because I can feel how chaotic and sad and broken the world is in other places. And it really, really does weigh on me. But I also feel like I owe it to everyone who is going through something painful and traumatic and heartbreaking to lean into the joy, because that is how I sustain my ability to make a difference in the world. And when that comment came, I just remember feeling, am I being too showy with what's going on? And should I hide the fact that I'm okay and landing on my feet? Should I hide the fact that, and okay is relative speaking. When I first moved into the house, I was spiraling. I was lost. I was heartbroken. I was angry. I was recovering from so much trauma. I had so much PTSD. I had panic attacks daily, but I landed on my feet. And it was a very fortunate situation that Erica, my friend, happened to also want to be buying a house. She had beautiful credit. My credit was, I couldn't buy anything. I couldn't even I wasn't even rentable. And she said, "Let's buy a house together." She chose a house that was way out of my budget. She decided to pay more of the percentage of the house so that we could live there. And it was a beautiful privilege, blessing, honor. And although that house is having a hard time being sold right now, and it's causing me a little bit of stress, but it's going to work out, it has been the biggest blessing of my life, because owning a house has helped my credit, and it's put me in the position that once I sell my house, I will be able to be independent, which has been the goal all along. I don't want somebody to have to buy a house with me and take care of me. And that comment did something to my psyche, that I thought that I had worked to get rid of that comment, and to understand that my joy and my delight actually is a positive thing to share in the world, because a lot of people sometimes need permission to understand, to recognize, just see the beauty and the awe, and be delighted by our surroundings. You don't have to be in a place like this to be in awe. It helps, but there's beauty and awe in every single simple, mundane part of life too, and it's up to us to see it. And so sharing that has been part of my experience of helping people live a more fulfilled, enriched life. But then I got to a point where I was like, maybe I'm sharing too much. And, unless I'm traveling, I tend to dull it down a little bit on social media, which if you follow me, you're like, "Girl, no, you don't. You share so much." I do, but I have more. I am a vast human with so much emotions, and I just want it to be noted for the record that, like, while I feel so much joy and delight, I still feel anxiety and stress. I was just messaging with the real estate agent about my house, and I dropped my phone and broke it and had to go buy a brand new phone, which beautiful quality, but it wasn't in the budget. And so I have anxiety. And yes, I had a panic attack and had to call my lifelines when my phone broke, because when traveling without your phone, feels like things are going to be bad. But thankfully, I was able to pull on my problem solving and lean on the very kind people of Italy and solve the problem. And, you know, I've just been wandering around Italy delighted and allowing myself to live in that and just soak into it, the sensuousness of the food, and listening to the Italians talk, even though I have no idea what they're saying. I just smile like a little kid listening to them. While I was down at the ocean today, just sitting on a rock looking at this beautiful sea before a lot of the tourists, I know I'm a tourist, but you know, I go down early morning, and so do the locals. And there was a group of older Italian women. They only spoke Italian, and they were so much fun to watch. They were giggling and splashing around in the water and speaking loudly in their Italian fluent, just the way it just flows, and it sounds so joyful and excited and upbeat. And you know, they recognized that I was one of the fewer people not speaking Italian and joining in the conversation, and I was kind of having a little meditating moment. And somehow in Italian they were like asking me if I was doing yoga, and I just said "sì" and smiled at them, and they were like "bella bella." And you know, when I was in Rome and watching people just be in awe of the ruins as I was sitting eating delicious Roman food, I just smiled. And I smiled at the birds randomly walking around eating people's crumbs, and my seagull who keeps honking at me to try to give him food. And you know, in Florence, as we were walking up gasping for breath to see the views, I just smiled when people were like wow, in whatever language they said it in, which I think I've heard it in all of them. I have allowed myself to sink into the luscious deliciousness of this experience and share it fully, and it's made me realize that it's okay to feel joy even when the world is absolutely in shambles. And especially when you're using this kind of experience as a way to fuel you to go do more good in the world, which is my intentions. And I'd like to think I have been putting good in the world. I hope that I continue to put the good in the world. I have a lot of plans, and it's going to take a lot of work, and I've needed this. I worked so hard to get to this vacation, and I have a lot of hard work in front of me. And so allowing myself to really soak in and say, yeah, I'm privileged, but also it's okay that I soak in this delicious, sensuous experience and share it and embrace the delight and, you know, dance with it. It's because I also still feel all of the other feelings. I feel sad for all of the chaos going on in the world. Don't think I haven't noticed. I've just also been equally soaking this up. And I feel whenever I'm sitting next to somebody on the train who's anxious. I feel when I'm sitting next to somebody who may be going through something grief-wise or not. Whether I speak the same language or not as them, I know what people are going through. I feel it very deeply within my soul, and that's also another reason why it's important for me to feel joy and for me to allow myself to be delighted and to soak up the awe and to notice. It's like the book The Art of Noticing. The more you start getting into noticing the little things in your day-to-day, the more you will find delight in your life. And it's okay. It's a blessing. It's going to get you through whatever hard things come, because you know that's what life does, is bring the hard things. It's going to help you help other people get through whatever hard things coming through them. And to that woman that made that comment to me, I have no idea where she is in life. I hope she's happy. But I have to remember that when she made that comment, she was projecting hurt upon me. And she had no idea what my situation was and how much I needed to land on my feet in that moment to be okay, and how much landing on my feet in that moment has helped a lot of other people. And that's why I've been just soaking up every moment of this, because I know every time I allow myself to experience joy and delight, as well as all the other feelings, I am refilling a cup that I'm going to then pour out into the world, because that is what I do. I pour all of myself into everything I am trying to do to make the world better. And, you know, I am happy that I'm happy. It's not a bad thing. And I remember even feeling a little hesitant to be happy after Steve, because I thought, oh, people are gonna think I moved on too quickly, or, you know, sharing experiences of feelings for other people, because I thought, oh, people are gonna judge me. And then I realized, you know what? If anyone is judging your joy, it's because they are not tapped into theirs. And hopefully, in you sharing yours, it helps people tap into theirs. In fact, since being on this vacation, and on every vacation I've taken since Steve, the number one comment I get isn't a bad comment. It's, your joy makes me so happy. I love seeing you live your best life. Your smile is contagious. This feeling that watching you be on vacation and absorbing and soaking in every moment where you're at is making me happy. Your joy is contagious. It's what we need. The world needs this right now, because there's a lot of bad things happening in the world. So if you are actually getting to experience something truly delightful, allow yourself to feel it and soak into it without guilt. And understand that this is going to carry you through whatever comes up, whatever way you can be a helper in the world, whatever way you can try to make a difference. This is how we fuel ourselves. This is how we fill our cups. So, thank you for following along while I fill my cup. And hopefully you'll follow along as I pour it out into the world, and maybe even get involved, because there are going to be ways in which you can in the future. So, yeah, I'm just so delighted to be alive and to get to experience this. And it wouldn't happen if I didn't have an able body, an able mind, and that alone is privilege, right? I mean, just listening to people's excitement about this view. What a beautiful life.